Hello, this is a brand new channel, the 92 with James, where I'll be covering the Premier League down to League 2. We will be doing things such as prediction and review shows all across the top 4 divisions. Welcome to this channel. So let's get cracking. To start with Premier League predictions, we will be doing League 1 and Championship. I just haven't had time this week to get it going, and we will do League 2 as well, maybe, depending on what my knowledge is like on that league, which isn't great, so we might just be doing League 1 and Championship, but let's see. So the first game is Leicester versus Brentford tonight on Sky Sports, Friday night kickoff, Friday night football in fact. Leicester, 17 points under Ruud van Nistelrooy. He's not a coach, I'm sorry, but he isn't. They concede goals for fun. Their defence is shocking. They didn't buy anybody in the summer. They're not going to stay up, in my opinion. They're absolutely terrible. Although they did beat Spurs a few weeks ago, but it's Spurs, so it's not I wouldn't class that as a big win personally because it's Spurs, but the other games they've had chances but they just can't finish. Like Fulham at home, they dominated that game, or were on par with Fulham anyway, should have beat them. Brentford, however, on another note, were absolutely brilliant at home. Their home form is superb. Seems to have taken a bit of a hit the last few weeks, and their away form has actually improved by beating Crystal Palace and West Ham United. So, considering Brentford's away form's improved, Leicester's is a bit hit and miss. Well, it's not hit and miss, is it? It's terrible, their form, apart from the Spurs win. For a prediction, I'm probably going to go 2-0 Brentford to be safe. I mean, yes, Leicester create chances. Brentford away form has picked up since Christmas. So I think a safe bet for Brentford to win this one is a solid bet. Next, we go to Goodison Park, where Everton take on Manchester United. Everton, under David Moyes, have been absolutely flying, have cleared way away from that relegation zone, and will be looking to push on towards mid-table. Well, probably won't get Europe, but they can push on towards mid-table, and are now above Manchester United in the league, which is very, very surprising to say. United, I just don't think they're good. They're not. Amarim's just seems to be worse than Ten Hag at the moment. The players aren't playing. They're selling everyone. Ineos and the Glazers have no idea what they're doing with this football club. I think there's some curse in that Manchester United dressing room for whoever goes in there. Just struggles immediately. You look at Ten Hag, you look at Amarim, you look at Rangnick. Where's the success coming from United? Nowhere. They need players, they need money, they need infrastructure. Rapid. Otherwise, they could get relegated in the next few years. They genuinely could. I could see it happening. If 3 strong teams come up, well, it won't be next season because we'll have Leeds, Sheffield United, and Burnley, but if 3 strong teams come up one year and they're still like this, they could get relegated, and I could see it happening. They're only scraping wins past Southampton and Leicester recently. They're not good. They're not going to get Europe, let alone mid-table, for goodness sake. So yeah, I could see United dropping off here. For a prediction, I'm gonna go 2-0 Everton. I know that's surprising, but new manager bounce, David Moyes, Goodison's rocking. United in an absolute free fall at the moment. So yeah, I'm gonna go Everton 2, Manchester United 0. We go to the first of the 3 o'clockers, where Arsenal take on West Ham at the Emirates. Arsenal still lacking an in-and-out goal scorer, as Havertz has now been injured for the rest of the season. I'm not sure where their goals are going to come from for the rest of the season, but they seem to be somehow still chipping them in, which they did against Man City. They struggled against Leicester, only getting 2 there. They got absolutely trounced away at Newcastle in the Cup. But they're taking on a West Ham side under Graham Potter that are really, really poor, losing to Brentford, Chelsea. They're creating chances. They have a good goals to game ratio, West Ham, but that's with most Graham Potter sides, like Brighton when he was there, Chelsea when he was there. They were creating lots of chances. They just didn't have goal scorers, and that is a similar problem here at West Ham, who don't have a out-and-out striker. I think Fulkrug's still out injured, which is ridiculous. I don't know when he'll be back, but it's looking dim for West Ham. I don't think they'll get sucked into a relegation battle anytime soon, but they do need to be careful of being sucked in. For a prediction, I'm gonna go 2-1 Arsenal because I just don't think they've got enough firepower up front. Their defence is absolutely rock solid, by the way. Saliba, Gabriel, and Raya in goal is brilliant. That bit of their team is absolutely fine. West Ham, yeah, just aren't very good. So, and Graham Potter doesn't seem to have turned the switch like Lopetegui similarly didn't have any impact. It must be the players down at West Ham United that are causing the issues for them. So I'll go for a nice 2-1 safe Arsenal home win. So the next game at 3 p.m. is Bournemouth taking on Wolves. Bournemouth are really knocking on that Champions League door, the best ever position in their history as a football club. Bournemouth up in 5th in the Premier League at the moment. They're ungrateful. They've beaten Newcastle recently. Forest 5-0, remember that game? Having a little dip against Liverpool, but they won't care about that. They've been unbeaten pretty much since Christmas, apart from that game. They've been superb, Bournemouth, they really have. Wolves, however, were really leaky at the start of the season when Gary O'Neill was there, but when Vitor Pereira's come in, they seem to have stabilised. He's got them better defensively, which is always a good sign when you're trying to stay in this division. Yeah, Wolves, they did beat Villa. They beat Manchester United on Boxing Day, remember. They had a little new manager bounce, but then it quickly deteriorated after Christmas. Bournemouth with Kluivert, Tavernier, Semenyo, Kirkes all look very good and are top quality players, even you could say argue world class. So they should brush Wolves aside here, really. I'm going to go 3-1. I think they can concede a goal or two, Bournemouth. Their defence isn't top notch, but it's still very, very good for a team that's in 5th in the league. So yeah, 3-1 to Bournemouth, and Cunha will probably get the goal for Wolves. I'm not sure how he's in that team. Surely he moves if Wolves go down this season, but yeah, I'm really not sure how Cunha's in that Wolves side that's battling relegation. He should be at least in a top 6 side. But yeah, I'm going Bournemouth 3, Wolves 1. The next game is Fulham versus Crystal Palace. A little bit of a London derby between these two sides. Not the right side of London, but it is still within London. Fulham, apart from that loss against Manchester United, have been superb. Beating Newcastle, Leicester, Forest, Chelsea on Boxing Day. I mean, they really have picked up Fulham, but they are inconsistent. They do lose to the smaller sides. They're better against the top sides, which is always a good thing for a football club. But you sometimes should be breaking the bottom sides down a lot better than you should the top sides. But anyway, for Crystal Palace, however, they're really, really inconsistent, aren't they? I mean, they're just losing to Everton last time out, but they beat Manchester United the week before. You just wonder what's going on. They seem inconsistent, but they seem to have propelled their way away from the relegation race, because they were at the start of the season. They were right down there, scrapping away for relegation, and yeah, they're you don't know what you're going to get with Palace. You don't know which Palace is going to turn up this week. And if they did lose Eze in the summer, you'd really feel for them, to be honest. You would think they would possibly be in a relegation battle if they didn't invest back to try and get some better players in, more young prospects from Championship clubs. They seem to like doing that to Crystal Palace. No Wilson or Tete for Fulham this weekend, as they are both out injured. Harry Wilson's a cheating diver anyway. For a prediction, I'm gonna go. This could be a tight one. You don't know what you're gonna get with these two sides. I'm gonna go 1-1 to be safe. I know Fulham are slightly better, do better against the top sides. I just think Palace are hard to break down. They've got a stern defence with Guehi and the likes of Munoz at the back as well. I think they'll be a bit more tougher to break down. I think Fulham will struggle with just Raul Jimenez up front. So yeah, I think I'll go for a safe 1-1 draw here. Fulham 1, Palace 1. Now, a big one at Portman Road, Ipswich against Spurs. Of course, we all know what happened in the reverse fixture where Spurs lost at home to Ipswich that day. They went 2-0 down and then tried to rescue, but it was too late at the end of the day. So Ipswich, they'll be up for this, but their home form really hasn't been great. I mean, they lost to Southampton recently at home, but then they drew away at Villa. Signing Alex Palmer as a goalkeeper will have helped because Muric is nowhere near good enough for this league anyway. He's a good Championship keeper, not good enough for the Premier League. Spurs, they did beat Brentford last time out. 2 weeks ago in the Premier League, not 2 literal weeks ago because they were in the Cup against Villa and then played Liverpool before they got absolutely trounced 4-0. They beat Brentford, they beat Manchester United. They've got back-to-back wins in the league, but they've exited the Carabao Cup now, they've exited the FA Cup, and you feel if they exit the Europa League, that will be it for Ange Postecoglou. Ipswich, half decent. Beating Coventry, drawing with Villa's a top result considering they were down to 10 men. So that could be a vital point come the end of the season if they are to stay up. For prediction, I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs. I think they'll get the revenge from earlier on in the season. Ipswich aren't great at home, let's be real. Yeah, I think Spurs will have too much for Ipswich, even though Ipswich beat them in the reverse fixture. I just think Spurs, with their Van der Ven probably back this weekend, they have a lot of injuries back now, Spurs. So yeah, I think they'll beat Ipswich comfortably here, 2-0. Next is Southampton versus Brighton in probably the least favoured one you would want to watch at 3 p.m. is this one. Southampton just stuck on 9 points. Beating Ipswich recently, though, was a good result for them, but then just losing to Bournemouth just shows they're not going to stay up in this league, and they could genuinely break Derby's record. I mean, yes, they need 2 points, but where are them 2 points going to come from? Maybe Leicester later on in the season. Maybe Brighton here. Brighton always tend to struggle against the bottom clubs. They drew with Ipswich at home and Southampton earlier in the season. But I think they'll plug through here. They should get the job done. I mean, they beat Chelsea 3-0. They beat Chelsea back-to-back in their last 2 games. But they lost 7-0 to Forest. And then they lost to Everton at home. But beat United. They are really inconsistent, are Brighton. As for Southampton, they've shown a bit more fight in the last few games. Forest, yes, they went 3-0 down. But got it back to 3-2. 3-1 at home to Newcastle. Wasn't great. Beating Ipswich, obviously, losing to Burnley in the Cup, that is not a great result. And then Bournemouth loss at home. They have nothing to lose, Southampton, now, because I think they've accepted they're already relegated. Ivan Juric, will he stay next season for the Championship? I'm not so sure. As for Brighton, though, Fabian Hürzeler, I just don't rate him as a coach. I just think he's a bit too naive. They're a bit inconsistent. It'd be a bit like Russell Martin if he was managing Brighton. He's too naive, doesn't want to change his style of play. For a prediction, I think... No, I'm going to go 1-1. I think Southampton will get to the 10-point mark. And Brighton, well, they always struggle against the bottom clubs, so that's why I've gone for this result. And it was 1-1 in the reverse fixture, so I think it'd be the same at St Mary's on tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, the prediction will be Southampton 1, Brighton 1. And then a big one at 5:30 where Aston Villa take on Chelsea in the Premier League on Sky Sports. This game, already looking at it, and Michael Oliver is the referee, so the game is already wrecked, and we know that because he loves to be biased towards, I'm not sure whatever team, he just likes to wreck the game with the VAR as well, not listen to them or anything. Absolute twat is Michael Oliver, and I am not afraid to say that, and the PGMOL, you are corrupt, especially Michael Oliver and Anthony Taylor, and it is a joke that they get games in Europe. Anyway, we're here to talk about Villa Chelsea, and hopefully that this isn't ruined by Michael Oliver and the VAR officials. Chelsea, not in form after Christmas, are they? I mean, they've been absolutely terrible. 1-0 up at City a few weeks ago. Could have easily got a point there, but Robert Sanchez had other ideas. Aston Villa, then they're starting to pick up now. They're starting to get wins. They're starting to look a bit better. In Europe and the Cups they are, but in the league they're not. Losing to Wolves with Liverpool and Ipswich. Liverpool was a great game the other night. I mean, I'm not sure how Darwin Núñez will speak that when we talk about Liverpool, but Darwin Núñez, I'm not sure how he missed that. For a prediction, I could see Villa getting something. No Duran, of course, now for Villa off the bench as he's left to go and wreck his career in Saudi Arabia. Chelsea really out of form, losing Brighton back-to-back and really struggling against the likes of West Ham and Wolves. They're a mid-table side in the form table right now, and I could see Villa beating them quite comfortably here. I'm going to go for a 2-0 home Aston Villa win. I just don't think Chelsea are good at the moment. I mean, where's Cole Palmer gone? I'm not so sure. He's just ghosted since Christmas, really. Early November, probably. He was good at the start of the season. He's been dreadful since. But he's just been quiet. People know how to mark him, etc. Yeah, I think I'll go Villa 2, Chelsea 0. As much as it pains me to say it, as a Birmingham fan, Villa will, I think, beat Chelsea quite comfortably here, with Chelsea out of form. And now we head into a bumper Sunday of two huge games, and it starts at 2 p.m. with Newcastle taking on Nottingham Forest in a massive game. Newcastle are out of form. They are really out of form. Losing to Fulham at home. Yes, they beat Arsenal in their cup final that seemed like a cup final before they even headed to Wembley. I'm not sure why, because they were already ahead 2-0 in aggregate. The fans treated it like it was the cup final, which it isn't. You still got to beat Liverpool yet in the final. Forest, however, been inconsistent of late, losing 5-0 to Bournemouth, but then beating Brighton 7-0, which increased their goal difference in them two games. I'm not sure how they did that, but they did. Beating Exeter on penalties, weak inside though. Then losing to Fulham, but Newcastle, I mean, absolutely just got battered last week, didn't they, by Manchester City? Absolutely terrible. I think Eddie Howe just gives Man City way too much respect to the Etihad. It happened in the Cup last year, League last year. They're not good against City for some reason at the Etihad. Recently beat Birmingham 3-2 in the Cup. Probably should have lost that game from what I watched, and being a Birmingham fan, slightly biased, of course. But yeah, Newcastle aren't in great form, are they? I mean, Isak's gone quiet of late, hasn't picked up many goals. Newcastle are the favourites, being the home side, but I wouldn't back Forest. I wouldn't be afraid to back Forest to win this one, but I'm not going to back them. I think this will be a great game, but I'm gonna go 2-2. Newcastle out of form, home fans be up for it, and then Forest are pretty good. I know they haven't been great lately, but it's Forest, and they're always tough to come up against. So yeah, I think we'll go Newcastle 2, Forest 2 on this one. And now we go to the bumper game at 4:30 on Sunday afternoon. Manchester City against Liverpool. Man City got trounced midweek, but then beat Newcastle 4-0. Newcastle were just off it that day by the looks of it. Real Madrid and Mbappe tore them apart in the week. Will they be hampered after that? Maybe. Liverpool might be hampered after their draw at Villa after Darwin Núñez missed that massive chance. I'm not sure how he missed it. I think I could have scored that, to be honest. I think 99% of the UK could have scored that. City at home, they're better at home than they are away. But they threw that game against Madrid last week, and they arguably just threw the whole game away because they could have sat on it at the Bernabeu. But we don't know how that would have ended now, as they lost. City will still get top 4. I still think City might even get the title if Arsenal and Liverpool have crazy drop-offs, but they will need crazy drop-offs. I still think City will finish third. They will finish close to Arsenal, I think, personally, but they will finish third. They're not going to finish outside the top four unless something crazy happens, like a stack of injuries. Pep leaves out of something, I don't know. I'm not sure he won't leave. He won't leave. I'm not scaring you, Man City fans. He's not going to leave. It's Pep. Might leave at the end of the season though. I'm gonna go City versus Liverpool. If there's no Gakpo, Jota's back in from injury though, so Liverpool might be okay. I'm gonna go 2-1 Liverpool. I know that sounds a bit out of this world, but I think Liverpool just are a better side than City by far at the moment. I mean, City are a one-man team. No Rodri. They're just bang average. They would be a mid-table side if they didn't have Rodri pushing for Europe. So, yeah, I think Liverpool will win this 2-1. I think City will probably get the early goal and Liverpool will come back and beat them and shush the Etihad up. Yeah, I think safe prediction. Man City 1, Liverpool 2, and hopefully, because I've got Salah captained in my FPL, so hopefully he gets a brace. Thank you very much for watching this first video that I have posted on this new channel, The 92 with James. We will be doing Championship and League One next week, so don't forget to hit the likes button, subscribe if you are new, which you will be new because this is the first video, and share it as well with friends. Please do. Yeah, and we'll be back next week. We might be back on Sunday maybe for a review show of Championship, League One. And the Prem will be a longer video, obviously. But yeah, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.